Happy New Year. It's 2026 and I'm ready to go. Thank you all for tuning in to the first episode of the Lone Wolves podcast of the new year. I'm the Doc, John Macaroon. I represent the Detroit Sports Podcast. This is made possible thanks to OnSI. Want to give you guys a shout out. DM5 TV brought to the table factual evidence why my gut instincts told me that the Jared Goff, Dan Campbell marriage needs to end. And what's crazy about the 5-year rule is that's about the time my gut started to yell about Matthew Stafford. He got drafted in 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13 is when I started the podcast. In 2013, screaming about doubt about Jared Goff after 5 years. Then 4 more years. In 2007, in 2017, you wanted to give him an extension with no evidence that that team was going to win with Matthew Stafford. No evidence. So my gut instinct has now come full circle to start the 2026 year. You all want me to have hope when there is no factual evidence that this possibility of now the Dan Campbell marriage with Jared Goff is going to work. It's proven factually, unless one of you says it didn't, but let's start with it. I want to give a shout out early. First of all, I hope all of you had a great, happy new year. This year, I promise to do more live shows. I did about 96 this last season. I'm going to do more, maybe even 5 days a week. I got more confidence. My voice is going to get louder, and I'm going to care less what anybody thinks. I think it, I say it. If you like it, debate it. If you don't, hop off. I'm good. We're good based on metrics, based on how I feel, how I look, where things are going for the Lone Wolves podcast. We're good. But when someone like me wants to talk about the Detroit Lions, I have a perspective. And if you don't like it, please just come and share your perspective. But the word of the day that I shared with Kelvin Sheppard, and I let him know directly, drastic. I asked him directly today, hey, do you think based on all the things that you said were kind of the weaknesses of this defense, do you got to make some drastic changes? And his answer was honest and real. We can talk about it. Better than what Dan Campbell, how he reacted to my simple question. I asked Kelvin Sheppard a tougher question than I asked Dan Campbell. Good on you, Mr. Sheppard. He answered it honestly, and we can talk about it. I don't agree with it. But remember, he's always said, kind of don't take what I say about scheme always too honestly. They got to make some changes. But drastic is the word of the offseason for this team. Brad Holmes has to be drastic. If Dan Campbell survives after the meeting with Brad Holmes, he's got to be drastic. Kelvin Sheppard, if he survives the meeting with Dan Campbell, needs to be drastic. This organization needs to be drastic in their approach. That's the word, not we're good. They need to use that word. Here's a free one from the doc. Stop putting salty on your shirts. Put drastic and bold on your shirts. Nobody cares if you're salty and mad. We're all in the same boat. We need to see you be drastic and bold. I'm salty. But how I feel better is talking to you fine people in the Metro Detroit community on a fine Thursday evening. Let's go. Lots to talk about. Let's give an early shout out. Roll call. Where are you guys talking from? Where are you guys listening at? Hit the chat. The 200 people early. Let's go. I know it's a lighter day. A lot of the live streamers aren't doing their thing. I'm here. Pick you up. Give you an hour and a half or so. Talking Lions on the New Year's Day. After a full day of reporting, we got 8 stories up, 9 stories up. I got one in the chamber still that's going to be coming out. A recap of some Detroit Lions news. The tight ends coach leaving and all that kind of good stuff. Taylor Decker. A recap of the big news. Jared Goff. Shout out to Steve Wilds. Happy New Year. Extra Trim Reaper. Attila the Hun, Detroit. Corey Patterson. Lion forever. You know what's up. Corey Patterson, Steve Wilds, the man. Smash the emoji, smash the like button, become a member, and super chats go right to the front of the line with your question or comment. And you don't have to even address the topics that we're talking about. It's a free-flowing show. Appreciate all of you for peeking in. Brian, my man, Brian LaBeouf, the man. Good to see you in here. DMV Paul, Donkey Kong, let's go. All right, so what am I talking about? I'm telling you guys, I am a man that believes things happen for a reason. I was meant to do podcasts. I was meant to fight my way into that media room. I was meant to be a podcaster, and I was meant to promote the greatest form of media that there is, podcasting. And you always feel like, well, are you too hard on quarterbacks? You know, you got you watch these podcasts and you got three panelists all saying the same thing. Does anybody have a different opinion? Everybody on the panel is like, Jared Goff's not the problem, but is he the solution? Is he somebody that you have faith in? I think if you finally can build it, but it's not that easy to say, he just needs a new offensive line. He just needs a defense. The he just needs has been said about Stafford. Stafford just needs a running back. Stafford just needs an offensive line. Stafford just needs a defense. Well, we ain't paying $50 million to all those positions. If you're going to go, hey, this quarterback needs, you could have did it for cheaper with a rookie. And now there's factual evidence. And look, to the degree you want to blame Jared Goff, listen to my words, not my opinion. My words are, here is the blame degree percentage for those of you that want to dismiss me because I have a strong stance on quarterbacks. This year to blame, 40% Dan Campbell, 40% Brad Holmes, 10% Jared Goff, and 10% injuries. That's my cycle of blame. But within that, I'm still talking about Jared Goff because it costs $50 million. It's expensive. You have to commit dollars and resources and positions. Not everybody has an all-pro offensive line. If you have an all-pro offensive line, not everybody has an all-pro defense. It doesn't work like that where you just wave your magic wand, slappies, and everything that you ask for comes true. That's why people get mad. It is difficult to build a football team. I ain't say that with the first super chat of the new year, $5. I ain't say that. A legend. I kind of like Carson Beck. Might have been. What is it? Oh, might have been booze. Listen, I get you. You were influenced. I kind of like Carson Beck, but it might have been the booze. Listen, I love Jared Goff, but I love the team more. Beck looks good like Goff, but can move around a little bit in that D-line. Remember, who drafted a quarterback first in his mock draft for you? Carson Beck, your friendly, trusted podcaster. Now, I haven't decided yet. Am I going to declare he's next? I'm still on day 6 of quarterback hunting. But hey, Miami, and I think we all should listen to the greatest former Michigan State head coach, Nick Saban. He said that. Look out for Miami. What do you guys think about what I ain't say that? You guys watching the playoff? Listen, it's better thing to say is, yeah, down with Ohio State and down with Michigan. So what's happened? Okay, the universe, I truly believe, does like to validate my thoughts. Dan Campbell, based on history, we'll talk about merit later in the show. And again, I got nothing personally against Dan Campbell or Jared Goff, two fine, outstanding gentlemen. I'd love to have beers with both of them. And they would love to have beers with me. We'd have a lot of laughs. But history says there's a 5-year rule. And thank you, DM5 TV. I'm shouting you out publicly. You shared it in my comments. You're like, Doc, look at this. And the video, my God, the gentleman does a great YouTube video. And all I could do was go, hey, Christian, Emmett, Vito, does this sound right? Another colleague, they're like, yeah, it sounds right. But We always got to keep it that I did not personally vet all these names. But think about it. If it's not exactly accurate, how many would have done it in less than 5 years? And that took longer. But I believe this to be factually true. But I did not have the time in my busy schedule to go through every name. But I went online, I Googled it, I asked 3 independent people, is this accurate? That's my process in my busy schedule. But if it's not exactly true, then what we can say is it still doesn't lend to the belief that a lot of people, after 5 years working together, get it done. But there's a 5-year rule out there, people. There is a rule of history. Okay, people? I'm not bringing you BS. It's on the internet. And my man, Jeff Rieger, the amazing host, he's also in the Lone Wolf Club. Doesn't go into groupthink. He thinks about things in a way that's different than others. He's in the Lone Wolf category, and he's a legend. And let me tell you something. He's a nice guy. Truly nice guy. Whatever you think about him, what he says, I've known him for 5 years. We bump into each other, and we share a laugh. I have a lot of respect for Mr. Jeff Rieger. A lot of respect. Some people don't like what you say. Some people don't love what you say. But those that come up to you and share what they think honestly, those are the people that you respect. So I got a lot of respect for Mr. Jeff Rieger. And he said, hey, I saw it on your X. I said, I know, I was shocked too, right? We were right. Me and Rieger were right. And Crunch Time are living in Slappy Land. So here is the 5-year rule based on the video that was created on YouTube. You can go find it. I'll try to find the link and share it for everybody. You can go watch it. The gentleman does a great job. Now, he does use some language that's inappropriate, so I can't play it. And I don't know these rules nowadays about what you can play from other people's content, so I try not to other than the NFL. The 5-year rule isn't an official league rule, but a popular media narrative statistical observation. No head coach starting QB duo has ever in the history of the world won their first Super Bowl together after 5 NFL seasons. Uh-oh, guys. Let's do the math. 21. Jared Goff's here with Dan Campbell. 22, 23, 24, 2025. So guess what? You guys want to play phony baloney DVOA numbers? I'm playing this one. So who's right? Guys, history tells you that the divorce must happen. History. This is a stat that I found that I find to be highly accurate. It's the 5-year rule, courtesy of DM5 TV. I did not find it. He shared it in this fine community. They saw that you all are like picking on Doc because he's QB hunting, all because you guys have this undying hope that things happen. Now, I'm not assigning blame. I'm not assigning personal attachments. I just said, hey, I feel like I want a new quarterback. But now I'm going to say something different. Now I'm going to speak it into the microphone. First of all, what's your guys' reaction to the 5-year rule? It's crazy. And I'm going to put the link in the video. It's scary. The guy that did the video, holy cow, he's detailed and he's stronger than me in his delivery of all you slappies. He is stronger than me in his anger. Gotta love it. We're 2 peas in a pod. He is not happy with you peoples. I will put it in the link. Watch. Enjoy it. Lots of quarterbacks have been with their coaches. It hasn't worked out. Isn't that crazy? Isn't it crazy how things happen? Turnarounds can happen fast. And a lot of the quarterbacks have won with their new coach in 4 to 5 years. John Elway had 8-9 years with Reeves. Within 4 years, got a Super Bowl with his new coach, Shanahan. Isn't that crazy to think about that if you don't do it fast, it's unlikely to happen based on history. It's never happened. It's never happened. No, I'm not gonna ask Dan about the 5-year rule. There's the video in the comments. Go watch it after the stream. It's well done. And for those of you that have said, "Hey, okay, who do you want better than Goff?" I am only 6 days in, and my thesis was from a couple episodes back, I want Goff to develop a quarterback. I said it before anybody else. I said it in an X post. I said, okay, it's time for the Favre Rodgers plan. Goff has to develop the next guy over the next 3 years. This guy that I'm going to ever list whenever I do all my full evaluations sits for 3 years and nobody touches him. Goff just does his thing, rides it out, and then you go to the next guy. But I'm sorry, history tells you that it's not going to happen. So, first of all, now, that's the factual brain in me talking to you. I can't publicly be like, hey, I went with my gut in my assessment of Jared Goff, Stafford. I'm like, I'm not feeling it. I'm just not feeling it. Doubt creeps in. So factually now I have some basis that it's never really happened after 5 years. It's never happened. So you all are selling me hope. I don't have to sell hope. I can tell you that it's out there. Now, it can happen. I would actually, if it does happen, it would be historic. Then you all can dunk on your favorite podcaster and say, stop with all the crap that Brad Holmes cooked. But remember, technically speaking, this is the second probably go around. He's going to make some changes. There's only like maybe 7 to 8 guys that are remaining from 2021. It's a whole new set of players. So you don't have to agree with it, Jeff. It is what it is. I love it. Well, first of all, welcome to our community. It's good to see you. Smiling face. I like it. The Jeff Neville says, I don't agree with this stat. Nothing ever happens until the first time it does. How about a healthy offensive line so Goff has time to make a pass? That changes a lot. This is a solution-based comment, and I love to see it. Jeff, great comment. But it's easier said than done. Brad has got to make some moves. Drastic moves. Everybody wants Linderbaum. He's probably going to stay with the Ravens. It's easier to say, guys, I think the fans in this town have said, well, if only Stafford had a running back, if only Stafford had a defense, if only Stafford had a head coach, if only Stafford had this and that. And it's hard. I think it's easier to flip the quarterback. But unless you pay him $50 million, back then, they were not paying Stafford $50 million. I got on the air in 2017 with just my gut. And everybody smacked me in the head and said, we can win with Stafford. And then they changed the goalpost. They changed the goalpost and said, if you build a team around him, he can win somewhere else. And I said, I don't care about somewhere else. I don't care if he goes become a Hall of Famer somewhere else. I'm talking about in Detroit with the formula, with the acceptance that we haven't had a general manager before Brad Holmes that had a clue. I didn't feel it. I wasn't feeling it. And then they just said, well, do you think he can win a Super Bowl elsewhere? I said, I can entertain it, but I don't care. And then, of course, this week he tosses a couple interceptions. He also throws picks. I wouldn't call that as a stat. It's a rule, the 5-year rule. It doesn't. If it doesn't happen quickly, it has yet to be proven that Dan Campbell and Jared Goff will be hugging it out together. Never in the history of the league, in the Super Bowl era, has that happened. Leonard confirms it. Happy New Year, my brother. It's a real stat, but we're stuck with Goff. If Goff's restructured contract and Holmes doesn't use the cap money, it's GM malpractice. Well, then I must say it, Leonard. In this divorce, if it's not going to be Goff, then not based on merit, Brad Holmes has to go, you know what? Is Dan Campbell my guy? Did Dan Campbell make fireable offenses this year? Yes. I think Dan Campbell made fireable offenses. Coaches have been fired for less. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen. Dan Campbell will be the coach in 2026. But in talking the 5-year rule and knowing that you're stuck with Goff, and I hate being stuck, what's the other equation? You must part ways. The divorce has to happen. Dan Campbell will get hired in an instant somewhere else, and maybe he'll have success with a new quarterback. So, like I said, I think Dan Campbell can win, but he needs a new quarterback. History says he needs a new quarterback. Or Jared Goff, if he wants to win one, he needs a new head coach. History says that. I'm not just saying it off of personal matters. History, there's a 5-year rule that says, so argue me this, in the history of the Super Bowl era, a first-time head coach and a quarterback together working, they've never won their first Super Bowl together if it takes more than 5 years. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So that means in this narrative equation, Dan Campbell's got to go. He'll move on. He'll be successful. But you guys love Jared Goff, so then you got to part ways with Dan Campbell. That's how this rule works. If we're going to play stats and rules and DVOA and analytics, advanced analytics, it seems advanced to me. In 50 years, it hasn't happened. So you want me to believe in history and the Lions are going to make all-time NFL history. I'd love that. And I'd love it for Dan Campbell and Jared Goff to have this marriage work together. But the combination of the Lions, their history, their relationship with injuries and referees, and all of this narrative, you guys believe in that. I'm ready for a change. More for the quarterback for my own entertainment. But in this narrative, Dan's got to go. Dan's got to go unless for Jared Goff. If you love Jared Goff, Dan's got to go. So pick. Who stays, who goes? Brad Holmes got to be like, oh my God, he's bringing some. He's pulling out all the stops here. Actually, you guys pulled out all the stops. You sent it to me. No, Jason, man, we are so late on news that we now just talk about speculation. No, we're talking about something that has been, hey, you all sent it to me. I didn't go find it. You all said, hey, in the history of the league, it's never happened. But you will come back and say, well, we'll be the first. But I'm a paid professional, so I did trust my gut and say I'm kind of not feeling it. But in this scenario, Dan or if one must go, Dan or Jared Goff. Brian picks Goff. Now, I'm not speculating. When Dan Campbell had this year's situation, he picked 2 inexperienced coordinators, and those coordinators did an okay job for what they were supposed to do for being inexperienced, but they didn't win a Super Bowl. They didn't make the playoffs. The team got injured, and also they got out-schemed. And the general manager wasn't making drastic, bold moves. That is when you are in a Super Bowl window, year now number 3, really realistically, 23, 24, 25. This is a year where Dan Campbell should have hired different coordinators. That's a big mistake. That's a big error. The team did not get better. The team regressed. The play out on the field that you watched this year regressed. Unfortunately, guys, you could say, well, go get new players. Unfortunately, you're going to still have Tate Ratledge and Christian Mahogany and Penei Sewell. You're not going to just overhaul the whole team. You might even have Taylor Decker. You might just have one new position at center. And you got to hope he stays healthy, plays well. It doesn't work like that where you just say, well, Brad Holmes has got to retool the whole roster and then it gels. Well, guess what? He kind of retooled the offensive line this year. New center, new left guard, new right guard, second year left guard, and it didn't gel. But next year when he retools it, it's going to gel perfectly because you guys say so. I have my doubts. We're not speculating. We're just having conversation. And history says that it doesn't work. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? And second of all, there are no changes potentially going to be made from the defense based on what Kelvin Sheppard told me directly. We'll talk about it. But what do you think about the 5-year rule? You're just going to dismiss it, aren't you? Well, here's my early victory lap. I told you I have my doubts. Now kind of history says, okay, if they accomplish it, it's historic. Don't beat me up if it happens. It will be the very first time in history that a quarterback and head coach, after the 5th year working together, get their first Super Bowl together. It would be awesome. But don't beat me up for my little doubts that I share publicly. It's history. How do you navigate that? It's history. It hasn't happened. So in this narrative, Dan's got to move on. You get a new head coach. Maybe in 2 years, Goff wins it. Sorry, that's the way history goes. Do you think how much blame in this question? How much blame does Dan Campbell get? What did he mess up on? I feel like the corrections that needed to be made, he said we got to correct it. Never got made to the degree that it helped this football team win. Lying forever. Dan pretty much said he made a mistake, just didn't finish with my coordinator choices sucked. I think he went with the safe plan. They didn't suck. They were inexperienced. They're gonna be good. I think John Morton's just in the wrong role. He's got a wealth of knowledge that you should tap into. He should not be a coordinator. He put his guy out to dry. He put him in the wrong spot. He should have come in as a senior offensive assistant. You stay in the lab, you tell me what I need to know, and you talk to the coordinator. That's just all it was. John Morton is a well-respected, well-knowledge, well-versed in this game of football. Just not a coordinator. He's not a coordinator. The coordinator involves the whole operation, offensive line, the scheme, the play call, getting the run game to work, getting everybody to play better. It just was not going to work. And also that's why he got dismissed from the Jets. The run game from the Jets. And he said it today. He actually said it. He said it today. He said, I like getting involved in the passing game. He literally said it. He repeated what got him in trouble last time. He's a pass game wizard. He's not adept at the run. That's your job. The run game took a dip. And that's the same thing that happened in the Jets. History. Attila the Hun, thank you for putting me in this historical presence, but I'm not football athletic. What about a 5-year podcaster rule? Well, that's not true. There are some great podcasters out there that cover teams that won the Super Bowl. So officially, I just dialed it up, seeing your comment. It has happened. Podcasters that cover teams have won Super Bowls before within 5 years. Kev, how am I bugging? See, this is what happens. Aha. And this is where the Slappy's denial just kind of tweaks a little bit. Someone presents a stat that they don't like, they dismiss it. But if they present, it's called a confirmation bias. And of course, I'm using it myself. Clearly. But you see how someone could just say, well, in the history of the world, it's never happened. So how can I see that and then come out on crunch time and be like, I love Jared Goff. This is the best thing in the history of the world. This marriage is going to work out perfectly. I just watched Christmas. I think I didn't drink too much. They scored 10 points. The quarterback had a lot of turnovers. The run game looked like crap, and you lost to a third stringer. And I'm like, and then you guys just want me to go, wave the magic, fix it wand, and it all works. It doesn't work like that. What do you guys think about the 5-year rule? It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. Let's get to some of your reactions. Right? 313? He dismissed him right after year 5. He might have believed. He might have did it just off of the 5-year rule. He's like, well, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got to a Super Bowl. It ain't going to happen. McVay is a genius. 313, Thug Living. I'm 586, Thug Living. Happy New Year, brother. Corey Patterson, you are an idiot if you believe Goff will get us there. Man, listen, the guy's got talent. Goff's got talent, but it's just not, I think, collectively enough. Just so close. It's tough, man. It's tough. Corey's like, we also have some delusional fans who will just listen to anything. Or fans that just go out there and go, Lions don't need drastic changes. They just freely post. They don't need to change anything. I just think we need to stay healthy. Well, you haven't stayed healthy for 2 years. All their arguments sound stupid. We just got to stay healthy and get better players. It's just that easy. It's just that easy. Everything's easy for the Slappies. Everything's easy. They just say it. And I just say everything's that much harder. And somewhere in the middle is the truth. They're like, we just need a better draft. We need to, hit the draft and we need things better. Well, god dang, man, I think the reason is I'm 10 years older than half of the people that are posting all these stats. And I've lived with it for much longer than they have. So that's how it goes. The 5-year rule, guys. I have a defense when if it happens, because now the universe twists in my favor. That'll be like, oh, you brought up the 5-year rule. Next year they win the Super Bowl, and everyone's like, I always believed. I was a dreamer. I always believed. I was a real fan, and you were an idiot. And I'm just gonna say, listen, man, it never happened in the history of the world. Let them be the first. They deserve it. But I have my doubts because it's never happened. I am justified in my doubts. It's never happened. So thank you for listening to that part of it. What do you think about it? Lion forever. Campbell wanted a mobile quarterback. Guys, do you think and listen, I'm only going off of it. Do you think Dan Campbell comes back next year? Does he got another battle in him for 2 more years of this? It's a grind, guys. And listen, I'm just talking about not his talent as a coach, just the grind of the job. He's well taken care of. He's done it. I feel like he's the kind of coach that just needs a year break, then comes back stronger. These coaches put in a lot of hours. Dan Campbell changed. And I think he should take it, whatever vacation allotment time he takes, take another week. He changed. Looks a little bit more wore out, a lot more into it, and a lot more devastated by what happened. I think he's on that brink of like, man, I put a lot into this. He needs that break. Do you think Dan Campbell comes back next year? Does Brad Holmes pull the trigger and say, you know what, the 5-year plan, I'm paying Jared Goff. Maybe I look to a new coach, a new voice, not on merit, just new psychological voice. Guys, sports works in a way in which a coach, the impact of their voice steadily goes down. It's just the way it is naturally. It's just the history of sports. It's not based on merit. I think Dan Campbell right now, I think is the best coach the Lions have ever had in terms of his knowledge, his ability, his relationship with players. He's the best coach the Lions have ever had. But you need more than that to get it done. Do you think he's going to come back next year? Do you think he's going to get rewarded with the opportunity to come back? If you're Brad Holmes and you're like, man, Dan Campbell kept saying, I got to correct things. They didn't get corrected. That's coaching. The sheer willingness to be aggressive with a team that's not good enough. That's coaching. Having your coordinators put together plans that aren't good enough compared to your competition. That's coaching. I probably would do it like this. All right, sitting down and there's no assessment of his job. I'm like, okay, Dan, what's your plan for the coordinators? Well, I think I want to keep Kelvin. Okay, Dan, we're going to have a talk. I think we're going to need to go bolder. What do you mean? I think we got to go bolder. And if he's like, no, do you think that the relationship between Dan and Brad stays strong when there's no winning? Jason, admitting that your hires were wrong is coaching. Yeah. Hopefully. Well, how do you admit that they were wrong? You got to make drastic changes. Kelvin Sheppard today, which I thought was a well-worded, well-executed question, wherein the concerns were raised and the question was asked. My question was, listen, you gave up a lot of explosive plays. You had a healthy defensive line for the most part. The run defense tailed off. You gave up too many explosive plays. The secondary had issues. Why do you think your scheme Mr. Sheppard, gives this team a chance to win games still? And do you think he'll make drastic changes? And his answer was eloquent. I loved his answer. I don't agree with it, but I loved his answer. Real fast here. Great response here on X. There's 600 people now on X or on YouTube, 2 platforms. Smash the like button. Let me read a couple of your comments. Kevin gets in. Hi, Kevin. I don't know if he's high as in, it sounds like H-I-G-H, Kevin. Kevin's high, but he's got an opinion. I think you bugging, bro. Laughing my ass off. Dan Campbell isn't going anywhere, and neither is Goff. Maybe it's a soft maybe, but maybe Kelvin and John bit the dust. But other than that, some personnel changes and player trades, and we're back in the game. I respect it. I'm not bugging. I'm not bugging. What I'm saying is you guys present stats that tell your story, and I'm looking at a big stat that tells mine. My first inclination was gut-based. I'm like, man, it's been 5 years, and the team went from NFC Championship to first-round loss to not being in the playoffs. My gut is like, I have doubts. Share it publicly. You're a dumbass. You're da-da-da. Like, okay, I'm just like, I have doubt. I've never seen it before. The alarms that got raised with Stafford are now raised again with Goff. But now history says that if you don't do it quick, it doesn't happen. It don't happen. So now I have some rule that says that it's kind of an uphill climb. It's an uphill climb for you peoples. I'm trying to just put it out there that, be cautious. The Dan Campbell, Jared Goff marriage might need some big time counseling. And Big Brad Holmes got to be in that room and be like, all right, we got some work to do. Demand. I wonder why. A lot of Goff hating here. It's not hate. It's, where's our trophy? Where's our trophy? Some of it's on Dan, some of it's on Brad, some of it's on Jared, and we're talking about it all. What we're talking about right now is the marriage between Dan Campbell and Jared Goff based on historical tendencies. All I can do is present it unless you challenge it. I put out the video. You can watch it. Based on history, it has ended the belief that Dan and Brad will win together, or that Dan and Jared Goff will win together. History says it won't happen. Prove them wrong. And hey, if they just plaster this on a screen and says, look at this idiot, let's go prove them wrong, that's fine too. But unfortunately, until someone says otherwise, it's a fact. A quarterback and a head coach in the National Football League, they tend to do it quickly. And if they don't, it hasn't happened. Man, the good Lord presented that to me today for me to see, for me to share. Mike Cove, Happy New Year. Idiots in here blaming Goff for everything. Who we getting that's better? Who we getting that's better? Mike Cove, we are day 6 QB hunting. We are level 1 probably assessing that Jared Goff needs to now become Brett Favre, and he's got to train someone, the next guy. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm day 6 into my evaluation. I've evaluated Mendoza a little bit. I've evaluated Dante Moore. Because remember, right now, guys, the universe works in mysterious ways. And the next topic is Drastic. Remember, I've also, on my X page, which you can see on this beautiful scroll, right now we're around 15. The Los Angeles Rams in 2016, I believe, moved up from 15 to number 1 in the biggest move up and deal move in the history of the NFL draft at the time to draft Jared Goff. The Rams did that. Who was in that room? Mr. Brad Holmes. Is Mendoza worth it? Is Dante Moore worth it? Oh, hell yeah, we're going to talk about it. I put it out there already. I have declared what the trade was, and I do it again. If you find that guy, or maybe you wait until next year where Manning comes out, or you figure it out. But we talk about it all. Who are we getting that's better? Good question. I'll answer it for you. Give me more than 6 days. Hopefully you follow along. Good question. Who are we getting that's better? Who are we getting that's better? Nobody's answered it. I'm going on that hunt. I've talked to scouts. I've looked at Carson Beck. I've looked at the Clemson quarterback. I'm going down that road. I'm going to give you a name. And maybe it's not better, but Jared Goff's got to get competition. And also, guys, when you don't have guys, guess what? Stafford never had a backup. I think competition I think Stafford got his development halted because the Lions never had him compete with anybody. The same thing's happening with Goff. I think he'd be better if there was a real quarterback pushing him. Hendon Hooker wasn't a real quarterback pushing him. He never felt like, and I would do it now. This is me away from, if I'm Brett Holmes, away from Dan and Jared. I'm talking to Ray Agnew. I'm like, you know what? We like Jared, but he's kind of at a little bit of a ceiling point. Do we push him and get somebody else to kind of say, whoa, this is not a Hendon Hooker from the SEC. This is Mendoza. This is Dante Moore. This is somebody that these people would actually want to start. These people won't just say, yeah, Hendon Hooker. These people actually might want him. Some competition. I said, you think we should do it? Hopefully one of the two says, yeah, make Jared better. Competition's better. I just watched Beck look amazing. I'm going to dive deep because he did have a little bit of a run there in Georgia that wasn't as expectations, but Beck has a little athleticism. It might be Beck. Doughboy Steve, Doc, I'm very respectful of your format, but I'm not going to comment on the people that hate on Goff if they want to. No, I understand. But guys, I'm not the only one. I may be the one that just keeps doing it and sticking my neck out there day after day. It's the most important position. You're paying $50 million. And Dan Campbell did say in front of everybody too. You guys just dismissed the fact that Dan Campbell stood in front of everybody and was like, devastated. This may have been our biggest shot. He's like, do I believe it? No, but it's out there. He put it out there. Yeah, of course. Listen, guys, guys get 5, 10, 15-year extensions. Nobody cares. If they think it's better, they'll get somebody else. Whatever his contract level is, they don't have no problem paying it. Brad's got a decision to make. But my humble opinion is they're going to give it another go next year. But key decisions got to be made. Dan might be the first coach on the hot seat next year. Kelvin Sheppard, now, to my point, said to me, we have an adaptable scheme. We're not going to make drastic changes. We're not going to just become a zone football team. We're not going to just, drastically change what we do. He likes the scheme. Now, here's where I think people reacted strongly, and I understand the fans. I understand Kelvin. You're not going to trash your scheme. Because then inevitably people are going to take it as you're trashing Aaron Glenn, and that's what he's learned. But he feels like the scheme is adaptable. It's not. It's not good enough. The scheme is not adaptable enough that when you ran zone coverage, Sean McVay picked it apart. Kevin O'Connell picked it apart at the right time. He exposed. They waited, plotted. Boom. Addison exposed the safeties playing it too aggressive. Boom. He's still running. The scheme is the scheme. And most people believe he's got a built-in excuse with the injuries, but I think the scheme has flaws. You saw Derek Barnes at times be used on the edge. It was okay, but you didn't stop the run enough. You didn't get enough pressure against good opponents. You didn't do enough. In crunch time, I mean, the rushing defense fell off the map in the last month of the season. Fell off the map. Jaylen Warren just scored again, guys. Jaylen Warren is still scoring. I think, I don't know. I think that the word of the offseason to me is drastic. And it's no disrespect, but I think you can find potentially better in this league with more experience. And I think Dan realizes it. I think maybe that's why Dan's sick. Why is Dan? I mean, teams have lost before. He looks sick. I think because he knows what he's got to do. I think he knows in his head and heart, and he's sick about it, is my take on it. The season put in a lot of effort and it tanked. The injuries tanked. And I think he knows that he's got to make drastic changes. 2 new coordinators. A lot of you guys are weighing in. What do you guys think about Carson Beck? What do you guys think about Kelvin Sheppard? Do you think if Kelvin Sheppard returns, do you think he returns? What changes first would you make? Would you play, they played around 35, 36% man. They mixed in zone, but it's man principles. Would you stick with that? Would you change it up a little bit? Is he just saying that to say it, but he's going to make changes? I mean, the run defense was not good. What do you guys think about Carson Beck? A lot of you are talking about it, which is good. Attila, the word of the offseason for fans is dramatic. It is dramatic. It is dramatic. It's a fall from grace of historic proportions. The once proud, gritty, salty Detroit Lions, king of the mountain, restored the roar, went from the NFC Championship 30 minutes away. It is dramatic. I was sitting there at my desk going, I'm going to book a ticket to the Super Bowl. Holy shit. And then 30 minutes later going, I'm not going to the Super Bowl. Holy shit. It is dramatic. You had a chance to whoop on the Commanders in the playoffs, and the quarterback had multiple turnovers, and the offensive coordinator, who was on his way out and everybody knew it, called a wide receiver pass. It is dramatic. It's a fall from grace of epic proportions. The once mighty, salty, gritty king of the jungle has fallen. It is dramatic. I want it back. What do you want me to take a hiatus? I'm into this. Extra Trim Reaper's like, dog, you crazy. Dog, you crazy. The once mighty king of the jungle has laid down and hibernated. And the media is still asking, what does it mean that you had Sione Vaki play special teams for you this year? Okay. I mean, one question today, I almost rolled my eyes. I was like, it was that weird dynamic of, can we get to the steak? Let's just all do steak. What are you going to do to fix this? What's the reaction? I hit everybody with steak today. Amon-Ra, J-Mo, Kelvin Sheppard. It was all steak. No fluff today. No fluff from me. Everything I shared, I would think you guys would like. Amon-Ra's video, J-Mo's video, what I asked Kelvin Sheppard. Dan, you fell from grace in 22. What did it mean? What did you do to get back in 23? What do you got to do with that? That was a good quote, though. The Lions are, and plus Dan Campbell said they're in the dirty diaper. And he's hoping that we can change it. He's hoping Brad Holmes can change the dirty diaper. But I think what's funny about that analogy is I wonder if Brad thinks that Dan should change the dirty diaper. I wonder if we're in that situation where there's a dirty diaper and we don't know who's changing it. And everybody's just standing around smelling it. And Dan's like, Brad, you change it. And Brad's like, Dan, you change it. And then you got John Morton walking in going, well, back in the 60s, the ladies used to change it based on my analysis, but now it's open policy. Everybody changes diapers. And Dan's like, thanks, John, for the historical reference. And then you got Shep. I'll effing do it. No problem, Dan. Real fast. Boom. See how fast I can change it? Boom. Who's changing this dirty diaper? I think it should be Dan. You got to coach the team better. You're never going to get 100% all pros. Last year, the coaching was better. They overcame these injuries. I think the word of the day, I think Kelvin Sheppard, in my opinion, should change the approach. I mean, you got these physical corners that are getting dinged up trying to make these tackles on run plays, and they're so physical in practice, they're not lasting. And it's Rakestraw hurt in training camp, 2 surgeries for Terry and Arnold, Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph. The scheme in and of itself, I think, has maybe sometimes it's too adaptable. You should run what you run well and run it. Problem is, when you have all those injuries and you're trying to put in a scheme every week to get these guys, I think sometimes you get some mistakes, some miscommunications. And I think the experience of the key offensive coordinators exposed all the holes. They knew where the weaknesses were in the zones, in the man coverage. They knew where to pick in terms of running up the gut and where to expose the Lions' defensive line. They knew how to block a little bit better than we could execute. Do you think Kelvin Sheppard's back? Yes or no? To me, before I get out of here in like 15 minutes or so, what are the resolutions you want to see the Lions make? Here's what they are to me, in my mind. And I'm going to get to a lot of your comments. Got 600 people in here. This is fun. What do you think? Is Sheppard back? Do you back the Brinks truck up for Brian Flores? What changes in this defense do you make? More 3-4? You had a healthy defensive front, 5-man at times. Didn't work. Zone principles. Can you run a better zone scheme than what was executed there? Do you need to bring in somebody that's a defensive guru to help kind of iron out some of the wrinkles? I just say you go in a whole new direction, in my humble opinion. Resolutions. I think what we all are seeing is that the word for me, and I created it, of course, this offseason, I think the media is more not into that, but that's fine. Drastic. This offseason has to be drastic for the Detroit Lions. Drastic. I think it was a great word I used today. Drastic. Can't bring back the same coordinators. You can't have the same draft philosophy. You can't have the same free agency philosophy. It was a drastic fall from grace. NFC Championship to not in the playoffs. It was a drastic fall in the wrong direction. Now we want to go in the right direction. First and foremost, lose to the Bears. Drastically decide that everybody's hurt and sick and lose to the Bears, get that fourth place schedule, get that 13th, 14th pick. And now you have the chance maybe to be aggressive and move up in the draft. Maybe you don't do it for a quarterback. Maybe you move up to number 3 for one of the best defensive ends. Drastic. And remember, guys, for those of you that love your picks, oh, we need these picks. Remember, Brad Holmes made 13 of them the last 2 years. How'd that help you? Tyleik Williams had an okay rookie year, wasn't impactful. Tate Ratledge, part of an offensive line that struggled, took his lumps. Christian Mahogany, these PFF grades and rankings aren't the best. Still learning. Proven talent. A lot of you guys may say move up for a draft pick. I could say move up for a proven player. We'll have a lot of time this offseason to talk about it. We will talk about it. So let's see about a mock draft to be able to handle these things going forward. So we'll try and get this figured out. The Lions are around 14, 15 right now. Let's look at an early mock draft and see who's up there in the top 5. 2026. It's fun times. We got a mock draft up. Before we get out of here, I'll share it. Christian did a great job. The early mock drafts that are coming out are great. Good names. A lot of people have Dante Moore's number 1 to the Raiders. A lot of people have the Browns potentially trading or the Giants maybe taking Fernando Mendoza. Best edge is Arvell Reese from the edge linebacker, Ohio State. Brad Holmes might have saw him. Do you make a trade up? The Auburn edge, Keldrick Falk. 5th pick, Spencer Fanouf, the offensive tackle from Utah. I don't think you're going to do Carnell Tate from Ohio State. You're not going to do Jordan Tyson. Caleb Downs from Ohio State. Probably not. Probably not the Notre Dame running back, Jeremiah Love. Peter Woods, defensive tackle. So some names. Ruben Bain, the edge from Miami. David Bailey, a lot of names being mocked. Francis Mwaga, the tackle from Miami. So Texas Tech. So these are some names we're going to start putting together. Do you make an aggressive move? Bold. Bold. My New Year's resolution is a bold strategy, whatever that may be in Brad Holmes' vernacular. Bold. Move up if you need to. Maybe for a proven player, not for a draft pick, but be bold. New coordinators, new philosophies. Dan needs to return the play calling to a dog that can call plays. You need 2 new coordinators with experience. Let Dan cook. Let Dan impact the game plan and let him clean up mistakes. You guys, the mistakes didn't get cleaned up this year. That was new. That was different. That was coaching. The mistakes never got cleaned up to the degree that it produced consistent winning. 1 hole plug, 2 more opened. What are your resolutions for the Lions? 1, be bold. 2, no projects in the draft. If you draft a player, they must compete with a starter for a job. No projects. They must also potentially have a health record that indicates that they can play. If there was, basically, here's the parameters of health that the doc is telling the organization. If they had a major injury in 2025, pass, potentially. Pass for a player maybe with 4% less talent, but will play 100 games in their career out of 104. Close the training room. Walk in, Brad Holmes, and be like, attention, medical staff. Our training room will be closed next year. I don't want to walk in there and half my roster sitting there on their phone. I want it closed, as Rodgers clearly indicates. No injured players. Bold decisions in the offseason. Wipe out that coaching staff and get some new ones. The tight end coach left. I'm sorry, even Hank Fraley's on the chopping block. Did that offensive line wow you? That's coaching. It's easy. Hey, guys, it's pretty easy to coach when I got all-pro Penei Sewell, all-pro Frank Ragnow. True coaching is when you get lesser talent. And whoever's coordinating that run game has to answer for things. Whole new coaching staff, new energy, new voices. If Dan's going to be the leader of the voices, you need new but experienced. That's going to test these guys and get them to play. Remember, you can make a little bit more mistakes with the 4-play schedule. You got to have experience. You got to be bold. And then you got to make bold decisions. I'm sorry, Alex Anzalone, DJ Reader. You got to also be bold in your own strategy. Josh Pascal, Marcus Davenport, Levi Onwuzurike, I'm sorry. Thank you for your time and commitment, but we're going in a different direction. That's business. It's time for the Hassanins of the world. It's time for some new blood, some new energy. Can we put out an APB? Where's Mekhi Wingo? Can he play? A draft pick. That's my opinion. Bold, drastic. Drastic moves must be made for this organization. That's how I look at it. Everything has to be in a bolder manner because you got to pick yourself up. Listen, I don't want to just get back. I just don't want to get back to the playoffs. I want to win a Super Bowl. I don't want to draft. A lot of you guys are definitely focusing in on, yes, can we please draft players that don't get injured? If you could. All right, now, what are your resolutions? What do you think about Kelvin? What do you think about the 5-year rule? I bring you the facts on this New Year's Day. What are my resolutions? Continue to bring you videos, do more podcasts, maybe even 3-4 a week. Be diligent in my willingness to engage in debates with you guys. Not be scared of opposing opinions. Not be scared to introduce just introduce some of those advanced analytical stats that I read but don't share. Listen, I'm more of a gut feel kind of person. The stats are fine, but the DVOA stat says you're the 3rd, 4th best team in the league. What the hell does that tell you? You know, on paper stats tell you the Lions should have been like 9-8, 10-7. Half the time be like, oh, Lions statistically are better than this team. They'd lose. So stats are fun. But again, I'm choosing to use the 5-year rule. Doesn't my 5-year rule trump all the advanced analytic stats? I think so. No coach and quarterback, first-time Super Bowl winners have done it after 5 years. That's an analytic. Might be an advanced analytic. All right, let's get to you people here. The great listeners here, 600 people. Smash the like button. Comment. And Steve's like, I dismiss it. I dismiss it. I don't like it, so I dismiss it. I like it. I respect you, Steve. Steve is like, get back to that run game and fix the offensive line. Guess what, Steve? You've been saying that probably for 20 years. If I would have did a podcast in 2014 with my cousin Adam the Jock Straczynski, who's one of the smartest minds in the game, you would have been like, they need a better general manager. Well, remember, one of your general managers picked Eric Ebron over Aaron Donald. We need a better offensive line. Your general manager skipped Cooper Beebe and drafted someone else. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, we got to align the football universe to love us again. You guys just tell me, draft an offensive line. It ain't that easy. It ain't that easy. If my only mission as a podcaster is to remind people that it ain't that easy, I will have done my job, because the Slappies have a wild sense of optimism year after year after year. But guess what? I've been kind of observing the Slappies in the media room and around, and they look burnt out. They don't look energized anymore. Where'd their energy go? Because now they're dealing with their sadness about the Lions. Dude, I dealt with it. Mine was over at the Eagles. I was a little sad after the Eagles game. The next day, I'm like, we ain't winning a Super Bowl. Let's look to something else. The Slappies are sad, guys. They got no energy. They got no zip. They lost their zip sauce. Why? Because they held out that hope in their own lies. They need people like me to tell them, wait a minute, just a little bit, wait a minute. Calm down a little bit. We ain't winning a Super Bowl just because you waved your magic wand and posted on X. And also, I'm the same boat. We ain't not going to win a Super Bowl because I'm out here complaining on the 1st of January. I'm just sharing the 5-year rule that you all shared with me. All right, now I want to get to you guys. I love you guys. You guys are the best community, I think, that's growing. And my commitment to you is to bring you entertainment, as much knowledge as possible, new voices, people like Booner to challenge my thinking, people like Hefe, great voices that do this. Maybe I'm going to send a text right now. I'm going to send the text. I got to get the clearance. Maybe your favorite other Arab. Maybe. I'm friendly. I send him text. Habibi. You all clear, Habibi? You got to love him, though. Booner's great. What are you talking about? Booner and Dolo Dynamite. Booner's great. Uh-oh. Are you clear to come on my podcast and talk the shit? See, I don't wait. January 1. Are you clear, Habibi, to come on my podcast? Lion Forever, what's your plan? Thank you guys for being members. I could fix the Lions, just saying. You need to fix the offensive line, but get a young quarterback to protect him. We're in talks with the favorite Habibi to see what happens. Doc, did you see Sonny Styles yesterday? He was hooping. All right. Laying the groundwork. Steve Weil starts with Linderbaum. That guy's tough. Most people want their own free agents. No, Steve, no. Let him go get an opportunity somewhere else. No. The Lions will be like, Steve, Scotty Montgomery, you're the new OC, you're the new running backs coach and the wide receivers coach and the OC. He does a good job. He deserves a spot on this on this staff. I need energy. I need youthful enthusiasm. Donald, much appreciation to you. Hit the nail on the head, Doc. Drastic is the only way to go. Tired of this homer garbage, only hiring guys they know and only drafting good guys. We need some dogs. That's right. You need some dogs. Love it, Donald. Happy New Year to you. I appreciate you listening in and at least be willing to be entertained and entertain some new ideas outside of this passive and waiting and development. Remember, guys, first, why would I man, Doc, you're so angry. I was told draft and develop was perfect. I was told by, I was told from A to Z down to everybody. No, you don't need free agents. No, you don't need all this. It's expensive. You don't need to sacrifice the future. You don't need to push all in for one. We want to have 15 chances. Well, where are my 15 chances? Based on this strategy, we got kicked out of the playoffs. Where's my sustained success? Where's my payoff? I was told top to bottom that the way the Lions were doing things was cooking. I was like, okay, I like it. I like some of this. But maybe a running back of Jahmyr Gibbs' stature is good. But what about a defensive end? What about some defense? I thought defense wins championship. Everybody keeps saying Jared never had a defense. Well, Jahmyr Gibbs don't play defense. You got to have these kind of tough talks. Love you, Donald. Happy New Year. Let's talk more, man. Like I said, I'm going to do a lot of podcasts this year. I'm going to talk until my voice falls off. Tomorrow, if I go to tomorrow, typically it's Friday. I don't typically go. I'm going to walk up to one of them and be like, where's your energy, boy? Where's your energy? Brother, my man, where's your energy? You're looking a little tired. You're sad. Like, it's over. On to the next year. We're trying to fix the Lions. Where's your energy? Boy, where's your energy? Like, John, shut up. This is like, shut up. You're like, you got way too much energy after a 12-hour day. Hell yeah. I'm fired up about hopefully seeing some changes. Yeah, Gibbs is awesome, averaging 2 yards a carry the last 5 games. Zip sauce. I think you guys are smiling along with me, but at least you're thinking. Whether you agree with me or not, I will bring you thoughtful discussions. And please, in our community of those that are watching me live, nothing I say is inauthentic. I believe it. Nothing I say is for clicks. I don't need clicks. Nothing I say is rage baiting. Do I look like somebody rage baiting when you look at me in my face? Do I look like I'm rage baiting? I share my thoughts. They're more on the emotional side. They are on the dramatic side. I care about sports. I like talking sports. I like sports radio. I like debates. I like talking about sports. I like giving my opinion every single day. Some of them, I'm not, and I hope that you believe that I'm accountable. That if Jared Goff wins next year with Dan Campbell, I'll be the first one in the morning, and I'll slap the key lime pie in my face and say I was wrong. I'm accountable when I'm wrong, but I'm never wrong. No, I'm just teasing. But I was right about Stafford. I knew he was never going to win a Super Bowl. I just never thought he'd quit on you. I thought he'd take the money from the Lions till he was 50. Corey Patterson, that's the thing. Teams recognized all Goff was going to do was throw 8-yard crossers. And if it wasn't for our receivers taking them to the house, how many yards would he really have? Aha. Corey, you're smart. You looked average depth of target, yards after the catch. Aha. Points per game went down against good opponents. Listen, there's numbers, there's advanced metrics. Everybody looks at them, but just watch the games. Go back and rewatch them. You'll see not enough conversions on third downs, not enough running attack, not enough creativity in the run game, and your counter to the defensive scheme of others was not as prolific as it once was. Simple as that. You were out-schemed, out-coached, out-executed, and in the end, you didn't have enough bodies that were healthy on defense to run what Mr. Kelvin Sheppard would want. But you see the difference? I asked Kelvin Sheppard a tough question. He answered it. We move forward. That's how it's supposed to be. New year. I know the show is going to be great. Now I know this show is going to blow up, man. This show is going to blow up, and I'm going to take all of you with me. The Dovo Dynamites, the Doughboy Steve. This show is going to blow up. My resolution is to give you all that I got and even more. We are not stopping talking real. There is no hiatus. This is a mission. Eric, I would think not. I didn't ask. I talked to him. I didn't ask him directly. I should have, but we were talking about a lot of other things. I haven't gotten the scoop yet, but I would say that if it shows up, I'll share it with you. I asked the sources that, hey, drop a flag in the comments if he's going to play. I don't think so, but we'll see. Eric, you like talking shit to Wooner. I like talking to chit. Yeah, who doesn't like shit talking? And I can do it with the best of them, and I can take it with the best of them. If you ask me, I'm just a regular guy you'd like to have a beer with, shoot the breeze with, have some laughs with. We would say some politically incorrect things. We would make fun of each other, and we'd have a good time, and we'd be cool. That's how I look at it. Oh, I like it. Lanner's like, all right. You're like putting me on the spot. Laner X 420. 420. The sativa. So who needs to go, Doc? Goff or Campbell? You just caught up. 5-year rule. Man, I love it. You guys are growing. Now we got 700 people in here. Check out, guys. The story of the offseason started from DM5 TV. Great Lone Wolves listener. 5-year rule. If it doesn't happen fast, tends to not happen. That's such a good question. Such a good question. Factually, now, I got to give you two answers, but realistically, it would be Campbell. You got $50 million a year tied up, and you need the restructured money to buy more players. But I would, just asking me on here, I think my gut would say keep Campbell and get a new quarterback that's younger. Wait 2 more years, ride it out with Goff. You realize, okay, the quarterback's got to be on his rookie deal. Now we're talking 2027, 28. A quarterback that you build around and you give him everything that you gave Goff, and you have it for $800,000, and you deal with more interceptions, but hopefully more rushing yards and more extended plays. And hopefully in year 3, that quarterback wins with Dan Campbell. But it has to be year 3 or year 4. So I'm sorry that in this plan, we're talking 2029, 2030. But that's what happens when the first 5 fails. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. You need to extend plays. It's not mobility. It's athleticism. Ability to read the pressures. Ability to have a sense of where the pressure's coming from. Jared Goff was a sitting target. He should have sensed where the weak spots were. And I'm not saying it. TJ Lang said it publicly. He felt like Jared Goff did a bad job of keeping in plays that was going to get him killed. From a former player. Not from somebody else who watched film and said, I didn't really like what I saw from Goff. A former player said it looked like Jared Goff was not reading what Brian Flores was cooking. A former player, a former lineman. I don't drink, but I'd have one with Doc from Lion Forever. So to me, I like Campbell. I think that the first task he's got is that he can relate to the players. But I don't like that in the key moment when he needed to be drastic, he went a little safe. He went familiar. John Morton, Kelvin Sheppard. He owes us 2025. This is a wasted year. He owns the regression. Steve Wild. And we ever have a good defense? We have Pro Bowlers, all three levels, but still a talent issue. We did have secondary injuries, but still. So to your point, Eric Taylor, I just don't think that Ahmed's going to play. We shall see. Extra Trim Reaper knows. Do you know what happens to people who watch Detroit Lions on SI and the Lone Wolves podcast and don't like and subscribe? Do you? You just made the list. January 5th, man. I think it's going to happen. You know it's true. Netflix, 10 o'clock, baby. I think it's going to happen. I can't wait. Good silent service. You still got it. I'm talking about people that I'm seeing in my daily tasks. They're looking a little sad, a little burnt out. And hopium, when you come down off of it, listen, I had my moment after the Eagles game. I was like, we ain't winning. And they still tried to sell you that the Lions were the Giants. Remember who did that to you? They hurt you. They kept you in sports denial, not me. I said, wait a minute. Wait a minute, guys. I have my energy, Doc. I'm 61. And what you calling slappy? That's right. Good. I think that you're watching this because you believe in what's real. I had my accountability is I injected my veins with hopium when Dan Campbell took over play calling and the Lions scored 44 against the Commanders. I thought, okay, this is the jolt that the team was going to need. But the injury bug and the Ford curse and everything that goes on with the Lions was too much. And then after the Eagles game, it was like, oh. And then after they needed to win 3 games, I was like, that's not happening. It's just not happening. I mean, the Slappies looked at the facts straight in the face and lied to all of you and said, yeah, they can win. It's easy. They're going to get to the playoffs. They actually wrote stories that said it's easy. They're getting there. So that's why I'm screaming louder. Nothing is easy. Nothing is easy. Gusto. Hey, Doc, do you think, well, first of all, Happy New Year to you and your crew. May the blessings of 26 bring you laughs, some football wins, someone shooting the referees in the ass with a BB gun. You know what? This is just a side note. Lebanese podcaster runs on the field and shoots a official in the ass with a BB gun. Lebanese kicker feels the need to be like, I found this guy. This guy called a penalty on my team 5 years ago. I'm going to shoot him in the ass with a BB gun and watch him. You know what would be great? If Roger Goodell said, it would correct it right away. If you make a call and it's double against the Lions and it's wrong, and we have to come and correct it and send the Lions another letter, we're going to line up 5 cheerleaders and they're going to shoot you in the ass with a BB gun. They'd never miss a call. These officials are ass in every league. But if you had the BB gun plan, they would all get in line. Some of them probably would like it. Hey, Doc, do you think the Lions would move on from Brad Holmes if he has a lackluster offseason and we go in a different direction if we have another lackluster season? Yeah. This is the NFL. I think Sheila knows. Uh-oh. The godmother's like, oh, whoa. Outside of winning, you're affecting her paper. If she has the right Arabic advisor next to her or Italian, like Sheila. We could have raised, if the Dan would have got us to the playoffs, we could have raised the prices another 10%. It costing us paper. This year, they're flat. Still very high and overpriced, but, I would be like Sheila, Dan cost you some paper. Cost you millions. Not making the playoffs? 3, potentially 2 home games? You know how much money that's lost? I'd be like, Sheila. I'll be like, we need some home playoff games. We need some gates. This year, no gates and no raised prices. Aish. That's not good. Yeah. Listen, this isn't Slappy Town. NFL is not for long. You guys, listen, Slappies are loud, but they're great. But you fans are the best fans in the world. It wasn't me booing the Lions at Ford Field this year. I'm not allowed to boo. That's when you know I'm officially going to retire and quit, is that I just openly boo in the press box. Because we're not allowed to cheer. We're not allowed to emote in the press box. But you'll know, because the headline will be, podcaster boos Lions in press box, kicked out. I'll be 65, and then that'll be my calling card. I'm out. Boo! I covered the team for 50 years. They never won one. Boo! It'll be the first time. It'll be, so let's see, I'm 42. It's another 20 years. So in 2056, because right now the press box announcement is you are not allowed to cheer in the press box. There's no cheering in the press box, is always publicly announced. When I'm done, the guy will be like, welcome everybody to the Ford Field press box. There is no cheering or booing in the press box. Be like, what? The next guy will be like, we had this podcaster, he just started booing. Excuse me. That's funny. Yeah, no, NFL, not for long. You got to win. Yeah. Brian, you're definitely on point. They lost some key people. You see what happens? You're absolutely right. It's not all on Brad, but he lost some key scouts. When Sears left the Lions scouting staff 2 years ago, our drafts went to hell. He lost some talent. It's hard to replace. You're absolutely right, Mr. Welsh. Happy New Year. Vincent, glad you're enjoying it. My man, Vincent E313. Doc, always great content. Hopefully you enjoyed it. What are you liking about it? I appreciate it. And please feel free, if you want me to always talk about something else, a different direction, in the comments, say, hey, we're doing a lot of shows. Say, hey, Doc, next show, hit this. I'm a man of the people. Whatever you want to talk about, we will tailor the show to appease the stuff that you guys want to talk about. And I know a lot of it is what I want to talk about, because I'm just like one of you. I'm no better than any of you. And that's why over an hour and a half, it went from 200 people to 800. You want to peek in, you want to look, you want to see, what the heck is this guy talking about? And I want to talk to you. Smash the like button for me. That's free. Do you ever get nervous asking Dan questions? Yes, I do. So here's what happens. I'm a normal person, okay? And as a normal person, you think things through. You're like, okay, what if he says this? What if he does this? I mean, the dismissing the questions is fine. It's a losing season. I get it. I'm so much lower and talking so much faster that I feel like half of the questions he's misunderstanding, because I looked at the transcript today and I'm like, how is he not going to address a simple question? Do you like play calling? He misheard me. No, it's not personal. There's no way. Because if you look, if I have the transcript sheet, and the last question was talking about, Goff and play calling. And then I'm just like, do you like play calling? Is there any challenge that you faced? I don't want to talk about it. I mean, he must have thought I asked him, are you play calling next year? I just no other way to look at it. I asked him, do you like it? There's no real room for trolling on that. So I just want to make sure that, because I did study Bill Parcells, and he had legendary feuds with the media, that I'm factually as close to accurate as possible. And it's a question phrased in a way that I at least get my point across when I share it, which is, hey, Do you like play calling? Some of the things. Why are you making the decisions? And then you're prepared for, okay, if he asks me a follow up, how am I going to handle it? Not to the point where I'm never going to ask it, but just normal. Like, I don't want him to undress me in front of everybody. But and also too, I'm Arabic. Like, you also got to remember, like, he says, why are you at, I just, you just hope that the things that the next response you have isn't stupid, you know. But he never would. I think it's just simple. He'll just dismiss the question or move on. But like, I don't want that. You don't want, I don't want a blow up. I don't want to end up being where I don't want to have a playoffs moment. I don't want that. I don't want my voice associated with a blow up. I just want to be known as someone asking direct, tougher questions. I don't want to be viral. I don't care to that degree. I don't want him like going off. I just want him to answer the question, and he can answer them. Actually, the question I asked could have produced some good content. Dan, because he was talking about Jared Goff, I would have said, Dan, do you like play calling after the season that you had? Are there any challenges? He's like, I thought there were some good games. There were some moments I would like back, like I've said before, but this is an opportunity. We dropped 50 on Ben last time, and I hope to do it again. I want to go out on a good note. That's it. The whole, like I said, I really felt like he thought because like I said, I'm far away and I talk fast because I want to allow others to ask. I don't want to ask 50-word questions, but I started to ask Amon-Ra and JMO slower paced questions. But no, it's not that. I truly don't want to upset the man. But yeah, Steve, do you get the sense Dan gives you angry energy? No, I get the sense I'm always last because I like to let the others get their stuff in because they need the answers. I don't need any answers. I'm not a newspaper. I don't need an answer. I just would like the honest truth. So I'm always tend to going last. And so by that point in your mental clock, the last thing he wants to do is be addressing the media. He wants to be scheming and talking to the players and addressing something. So when it gets to me, it's like, I know his brain's like, oh God, what's whatever. The first thing he probably misses the first 4 words because his own inner thoughts are like, what's this idiot going to ask me? What's he? He's probably thinking, I want to get the hell out of here. So that's fine. I don't get angry energy. I want to end this energy. And I don't want to answer what he's going to, because he knows like, okay, John's going to be a little tougher. But I've always felt like I've been fair. And you guys will tell me, I think maybe, the first question of the year, but it was after the Packers game. It was a bad performance. I felt like I've always been fair and direct. I've never been unprofessional. And I got better because of that. I asked better questions. I think that in the last 4 months, I got a lot better as a reporter. You guys are talking about me for some reason. I should be the last person you guys talk about in the YouTube chat. My nephew's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I'm not trying. But the blessing is I'm truly thankful to the 1,000 people listening. I see some of the complaints, and then the next comment is, but we kind of need a guy like that. He's a little different. And that really almost brings a tear to my heart. So my nephew's like, they like you and they hate you. And I'm like, that's kind of the job. And listen, there's no thin ice. I do the job the same way every day. And it's a day that ends in Y. I will be direct and honest. And actually, the way I always look at it from the question standpoint, I feel like, and if he ever did confront me and say, listen, Dan, I just repeat the question and say, the reason why I'm asking is I feel like it's something I really want to know. And I feel like the listeners of the Lone Wolf Detroit Lions podcast really want to know this. That will be my answer. And I'll say it as slowly as possible. So I'll emphasize, listen, Dan, I know it's a little tough asking, why you deserve to be back, but it's a question I kind of am wondering about. And the listeners of the Detroit Lions on SI podcast want to know. Be like, they got to pull me aside. Can you stop emphasizing podcast? Can you stop doing it like that? No, not at all. I can't control that. If he likes me or doesn't, it's subjective. If he likes me, doesn't like me, it's all good. I got a lot of respect for Dan Campbell. It's a tough job. He'll be like, listen, not today, Mac. I'm like, okay, gotcha. What do you mean you're Arabic? I don't understand what that implies. It means I'm hot-headed too. Meaning that, for example, you picture things in your head and you're like, Dan, because the question could come, maybe not this year or next year, Dan, why do you deserve to be back? What do you know about this? Da, 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 and then you're like, well, then you're like, well, I know a lot of things. I'm a podcaster. I've been doing this for 15 years. Da, da, da. You just, you sometimes you react. We got the fiery blood, and I'm passionate. So, it may come down to I might be the one that in 3 years say, Dan, like how Dave Burkett asked John Morton, why do you deserve to be back? What do you know? Oh, it's JST's. You can't tell by what you're watching. I'm a little bit more of not the boring type. I'm a little bit spicy. I'm spicy, baby, with a hint of chili. But I'm a Pisces, so we're deeply sensitive. But I'm working on it. So see, I really feel like if you go back and listen, I was very thoughtful in my direct questions. I give myself a B+ for the year. Man, thank you guys. It's been fun. 90 minutes. We'll go a couple more comments. Any super chats? You want to get them in? Anything I know, don't know. If you want to get them in now. It's good New Year's. Good start to the year. Good start. Factual, knowledgeable, entertaining, never boring. Great engagement, growing. Thank you guys humbly. It means a lot to me. TM, I believe the 2026 NFL season will be shocking for the Lions. Just watch. Hopefully in a good way. Please, in a good way. 4th place schedule, NFC title. Goff lights it up with a better offensive line. Brad Holmes buys some players. The injury bug goes away. Yeah. Smash the emojis. Become a member. You can smash the emojis. Some people now, let me ask before I get out of here. Do you want changes? Do you want Dan Campbell gone? 5-year rule. Listen, Dan's going to win a Super Bowl. I really believe it. Stamp it so that you can play this after all the complaints. Dan Campbell, 49, I think 48, 49, will win a Super Bowl. Can it please be with the Lions? Can it please be with the Lions? Can it please be with the Lions? Please don't let 2 years go by. We bottom out. He has to get fired, and he goes to the Vikings and wins a Super Bowl. Please let it be with the Lions. He will win a Super Bowl. He's got it. Problem is, he doesn't have the it with the ability to pick a quarterback. He went with the gritty guy. No, Steve. No, this is wrong. This is the only thing I've complained about the fans all year. I won't lie. I'm tired of St. Brown on his podcast. That's absolutely wrong. Steve, let me tell you. The podcasts are great. You get real insight. They're comfortable. They get days off. Like I get days off. A lot of times I'm still watching football, watching state, watching Michigan basketball, going, oh my God, Michigan might win the national title this year in hoops. You get a day off. Sometimes you go, I'll go watch a movie. You do something else. You cannot, like I would say, I think about football in this podcast and my writing. I think about it 86% of the time. The other 14% is like soccer, European, tennis, the Wings, the Pistons, trolling my friends. But the podcast is a true opportunity for him to talk ball. And it's a day off. It's an hour. Like I just spent with you. The rest of the time, he takes another hour and then he can prepare. The podcast, more should do it. I've told every athlete I interviewed this year they should do a podcast. I told Ahmed. I told somebody else. Everybody that I've talked to, I said, you should do a podcast. We asked Tate Ratledge to do a podcast. Let them live. It helps them be better people, more well-rounded too. I like this comment though. Dan, what did it mean to you to have Jared Goff on the roster this year? Dan, what did it mean to have, Taylor Decker? I mean, the one I probably ask, Dan, what did it mean to see Taylor Decker battle all this year with the injuries? I'm not getting into that. I'll be like, yes, then I'll know. Oh man, it's personal. Dan hates Doc. Do you think Dan hates me? What do you think Dan thinks about me? I don't know. Donald, love it. Donald Hart. Doc, yesterday you said you'd rather have a defensive end over O lineman. With that defensive end in hand drafted, would you rather have a shutdown corner or O lineman the second? O lineman. Yeah, your investment's $50 million for Goff. O lineman. Give Booner his props. Listen, Michigan fan. No, he didn't. It was 10-10 even. Brendan. Yes, and ask the worst questions. That means I'm doing the good job. The questions you ask are the ones they don't want to answer. That's how I always felt journalism is to ask stuff. Now, I know I could weave it and use a bunch. Listen, there's 10 minutes. He's on a clock. If there was unlimited time and he talked for double the time for 20 minutes, then I would use a bunch of words like you hear the others do. Dan, I know that it was a tough decision for you to call plays, and it was something I know you thought long and hard about, but now that you've done it over 6 weeks and you've gotten a little bit of a chance to see the results, what do you think about it? Like, I don't have time. Like, it's the end. I want to stop it. I want to start typing. I got stuff to do. I don't have, and I don't have time to weave in 60 words. And I don't want to I want to just be direct, and I'll let the others talk. Now, you'll know I'm stopping to care when I'm starting to talk like that in the media session. I ask good questions. It's good enough. I'm still here. What is it? 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. And now on New Year's Eve, 1,100 people watching. I think I'm doing all right. But I tend to think if you think that, ask yourself why. Do you not like the questions? Do you not like that Dan Campbell is a little bit Listen, you got to have somebody he's not happy with. You can have 15 media members and he loves them all? Something's wrong. And hell, I when I talk to professors in journalism and I say these things, I say, well, I'm not really trained in that. And I'm just free flowing and I'm just a regular guy in the press room. I say, I'm just asking questions that I just kind of want to know. And I feel like because I'm a regular average guy, that it translates to the fans that read it. And luckily the analytics on the website kind of dictate that that's true. And the analytics of the podcast dictate that that's true. Regular guy asking questions. Xavier, happy new year to you, man. It was great to see you. And I just think that some of the questions need to be asked. I just don't think they'd ever be asked if I wasn't in there. Riley, at least Dan knows who you are. I know someone who has an extremely high opinion of himself who believes the Lions listen to his show and steal his ideas. Oh, my goodness. He hates most everyone in Lions media. Oh, my goodness. Well, hey, there is that too. There is a anti-media sentiment in the world, but it's all subjective. J-Mo Lion King. Doc, do you watch the game again after it's over? So after the game, typically now I've been doing podcasts. Monday morning, I wake up at 6, publish the first story. About 6:30, I drink coffee, handle all the grown-up business, get denied by the missus. So 6:35, I'm like, all I need is 6:32. I'll be done. 6:35, I watch the film, and I watch the defense first. Takes me about an hour, and I look at it, I make my notes. And then, a lot of times I don't like watching the offense because I like the defense. I like see how the blitzes go, where the zone coverage is, what the percentages, who's lining up where, how certain players are speeding, reacting, are they hitting their keys? I like that. Then most of the time, around 10, 11, after a couple of more stories are published, I get to the offense. And I'm not as detailed about the offense, but I definitely pay attention to the offensive line, who's blocking. I definitely pay attention to Goff, his footwork, where is he seeing the pressure, and I watch the all 22. I don't do film reviews because I just don't have time. I could do them. I know the lingo. I just don't have time. By the time 12 o'clock hits, we've already published 6 stories. And then I like doing videos like this. And then I plan a podcast. I'd rather plan a podcast than do a film review. There's so many doing film reviews that they're better than me. So I feel like I'm best to prepare for podcasts. So I think about the podcast, what I want to talk about, and stuff like that. So I let Christian do the film reviews. I read a couple of them. And a lot of times they're in line with what I think. So I do watch the film sometimes, more than once. And then sometimes I'll just sit back and turn on the game and just watch the television copy to laugh at how god awful some of these announcers are. Woo, there's one that you guys, Bobby Branch with the interception. I'm like, oh my God, Bobby Branch. Okay. Bobby Branch doing his thing. Yeah, just me and my hobby. And you listen, man. You must be a long timer. That means a lot. Yeah, just this turned my hobby. What this turned into. Steve is like, just keep going for 3 hours. No, I know, but after I'm done, the young lady that you see that I have the special banner for, she likes my attention, and I like to give it to her. My little daughter. There's more to life than an 8-8 football team. It's very true, Gumby. Very true. But I'm into it, and I love this. I truly love this. This isn't work. I could do this for 4 hours a day. I like this. And I think the number one thing is I want people to know is this is not work. This is just what I would be doing on a regular Thursday. I like podcasting. The video part is really crazy that I can do this, and I'm kind of comfortable at it. Doc, what will make you different is you being different and asking hard questions. Thank you, Steve. I just don't think it's not that hard. I really don't think so. It's a little different because the newspaper guys, they have to get the answer in a certain way. They have to get it published. I don't have to, I'm not in that boat. I just can ask whatever I want. He could not answer it. And he could not answer the next questions for 20 years, but at least he knows someone's thinking it. So that's the difference. If I was working in a newspaper and I had to get words printed, but I give so many opinions every day, I can talk for 4 hours off the top of my head. But if I had to get the quote from the man himself, I would ask questions a little different. But I still throw some in there. TM, the energy, the vibe on that field on Sunday will be fascinating. It will be. Could the Lions blow out the Bears? The Bears blow out the Lions? What kind of energy are the Lions going to bring? 313. We're in the same boat. I have children, work tirelessly, juggle 3 different women, but I still can talk about the Lions all day, every day. You heard? Maybe you'll be the last comment. What is the secret to juggling 3 women? That's the secret to life, baby. Listen, let's start the new year off right. They all like each other, right? Are we into you ever bring all the crew together and have a Jared Goff sandwich party? Jared Goff sandwiched. 2 defensive ends and Jared. Right on, player. Damn. I can barely handle one. 313's like, he's like, I love it, man. I have children. We're tirelessly juggled 3 different women, but I still can talk about the Lions all day, every day. I want to shout out you, 313 Thug Living. We're in the same boat, playa. Listen, don't tell everybody Sharon Moore is in our group chat, all right? Me, you, and Sharon. Don't tell anybody, okay? Let's keep it between us. Sharon blew the spot. You keep their names right. Like I would mess up. I'd call one name the other when we're doing our business, and I get in trouble. Right? Listen, Tina, I'm not Tina. Sorry. Me too, man. Me too. That's a team and organization that needs a 30 for 30. It needs a documentary. Needs a 10-parter. And in 2024-25, there was a rise of a syndicate and the rise of the lone wolves. Where did these people come from? The team started losing, and the defensive end. I want the defensive end to be its whole chapter. And I want to see Derek in his shirt, and there be like there were these fans that just, and then I want to see just Brad Holmes sitting there in the backdrop going, "These guys got on my ass about the defensive end, so I had to get one." I was like, "We did it." When Brad said that, I'm telling you, my phone blew up. You guys have been on my ass about this defensive end. Oh man, that's not my name. Whoops. What's my name again? I'm like, sorry. Well, I don't know. Doc, who do you think will play you in the movie? I'm betting on Jake Gyllenhaal. Nice. That's a good question. Let me think on that, and I'll answer it next time. Who would play me in the movie? I will address it with my wife and my group chats. This is good. A little tease for next time. We'll address it when you're in the chat. Who would play the Doc in the dramatization of the Lions when Dan Campbell is yelling at the media? All right, guys, this was fun. Thank you so much. Do a Pistons podcast? I just don't feel like I have credibility in that space. I can talk Pistons. Hell yeah, they just need another shooter. I feel like when the lulls happen for the Pistons is when they don't have enough shooters. I like Cade, but he's a primary shooter when he's on the floor, and then he needs more help. What's his face? Tobias Harris is up and down shooting this year. I feel like that Duncan Robinson is great as a shooter, but his defensive prowess is not that great. You need Asar Thompson and Jalen Duren for defense, but you need one more shooter, one more. Let's put it this way, Steve. Put it this way nicely and as succinctly as possible. We crossed 1,000 people here. This is cool. Smash the like button. Let me put it succinctly. Can we do a GoFundMe and just raise like 40 grand for the rent for Malik Beasley? And let's just pay his rent, pay his gambling. Let's give him a stipend. Listen, let's all chip in. We need freaking Malik Beasley back. We need Malik Beasley. He's like the manna. He's like the Rodimus Prime thing. We need Malik Beasley. I'm going to let you in on a secret. I think Malik Beasley got in trouble with the Pistons. I think who he's dating is maybe going to get him in trouble. That's cool. But I would bring him back. I don't care about any off the field issues. I don't care who he's dating. I don't care about his social media. I don't care about how he conducts himself. Dude can nail threes. Nail the threes. Bring around to whoever you need to bring around. We don't care. I'll put in the chat, we all know. Just check. It's clear. I would bring back Beasley. Bring him back, baby. Baby, come back. Any kind of fool can see the Pistons need Malik Beasley. What didn't you understand? Never understood that about sports podcasters. Let me go back up here. Very good. Why cover one single team when you can cover the league? Well, the idea is, and the thinking is, a lot about, like, I can talk now. I've just talked for 2 hours in a plan when I'm supposed to go an hour. You are intently aware of all the inner workings. The sources to talk to. About it. When you cover the league in its entirety, you miss a fact, and you start looking like Stephen A. Smith sometimes, where you declare a player that you're talking about who's not even going to play. So you divert your attention. Now, I can talk the league in general. I understand that the Patriots need to send some of their players my way. You heard, Mr. Vrabel? I'm available for surf services. Drake May is great. I like the fact that the Bills are, in that climb. I think the Denver Broncos are legit. I know the league in general, but I don't know the inner workings. Like, I know that Bo Nix is legit. He's the truth, but I don't know the inner workings of how he's played the last 6 games. I watched the Lions. And to me, my accountant always told me, because I definitely do a lot of other things besides sports. He's like, if you do a lot of different things, then you're really a jack of all trades, but a master of none. I want to be a master of podcasting and a master of the Lions, that when I fire it up on New Year's Day, when no one's broadcasting and people want to listen, that I sound and know what I'm talking about for 2 hours. And it felt like 5 minutes. Did the other streamers take the day off because it's New Year's? Let them. There's only so many dogs that would try to do this on New Year's Day. They're dogs too, but they do it 5 days a week for 2 hours a day. Let them have it. That's why I step in. Let them have it. My old days, Tony Shalhoub. Let them have the day off. Let them have it. You got 2 hours of this. I think you've enjoyed it. What did we talk about? The 5-year rule. When you see the slappy, say, what do you think about the 5-year rule? Do you think Dan Campbell coaches next year? I don't know. This is like very, very stretch speculation. I think he's burnt out as we talk. He needs one more week of vacation to bring him back. He looks it. Questions. Did you see how he answered? Just look how he answered Dave's first question yesterday. What do you think about Kingsley leaving? Yeah, Graham's coming back. Yeah, Graham's coming back. Like he needed a little jolt to get into the media session. That's my read on it. Give him the extra week off. Sheila, give him another week off. Kelvin Sheppard, does he come back? What drastic defensive changes would they need to make? What are your resolutions for the Lions? My resolution, drastic, bold moves, free agency, draft, trade deadline. Make good roster decisions. Maybe don't pay Jahmyr Gibbs. Maybe don't pay Jack Campbell. Let everybody earn it. Don't pay Brian Branch. It is, right? I think everybody can see it. It's not bad. It's different compared to when he was thriving. Like, he burst out with energy. Like, didn't it radiate through the screen? I feel like he's a Pisces riding the emotional wave. Now it's kind of like, it's different. It's really different. Everybody can see it. So I'm glad you're saying it. I'm not. The fans are seeing it. He just doesn't look. We already know that, Drew. But he doesn't like losing. He's not trying to fight for a contract. I think the losing gets to him, and it's a lot of work. And I think he knows he's got to drop the hammer on his coaching staff. Does he walk away? I don't think he gets fired. Breaking Brad was funny. Yes, X the Trim Reaper. Hope Brad is aggressive to save his job. You know what's up, Donald. Happy New Year's, big guy. Appreciate ya, and keep those tough questions coming. If they can't take the heat, they need to get the hell up the kitchen. You know what's up. And like I said, I think the Lions have handled it pretty great all year. Last question, one or two more. Do you think they cut Monty? I think they trade him. I think you maneuver the trade. I think you cannot go in. I think you have 7 or 8 picks. You need 10, 11 picks this year. You need to maneuver the draft, trade some players for picks, and get more picks. Because you've been struggling, you need more of them. You need more picks. You might have to move some this year to move around, So get more picks. Trade Monty. Yes. Trade him if you can. If not, that $8 million probably looks good in the salary cap. Tomorrow, we're going to have a salary cap story as to how much they can save with cutting certain players. Look for it at Detroit Lions on SI. What if MCDC goes 8-9 again next year? Is he fired? Yes. Big expectations with a fourth place schedule? You know it. It's not for long. Thanks, everybody, for listening. 2 hours on New Year's Day. What have I done? My goodness, I went an hour longer than I wanted to. That's awesome. This podcast is made possible thanks to On SI. I represent the Detroit Sports Podcast. My Doc and Jock podcast, which I recorded Tuesday. When I leave here 5 minutes from now, we're going to drop it. You can get our general sense, me and Adam. You got this 2 hours to, get you through to tomorrow. Maybe we'll talk tomorrow, but probably a day off tomorrow and then reconvene on Saturday. My thoughts a little bit on the Bears and any news topics. But thank you for your continued support. Hopefully I've earned your click and you don't feel like you've been baited into clicking. My PSA to you is you got my pledge. If you truly believe that I do clickbait, I'm sorry. That's not ever the intention. I truly believe that I've been around for now going into my 8th year, because when you do click, you're like, okay, that's reasonable. That when you do tune in, you're like, okay, I like what he says. I don't like what he says, but I know what he's about. If you truly think I'm trying to deceive you or trying to shock you into reading, I don't know how you can last 8 years doing that. It's disingenuous. I'm me. I write a headline, maybe with a little chili spice. If you don't like the headline or the words in the X post, fine, I get it. Read the words, watch the videos, watch the podcast, tell the whole story. If you see the whole story and you talk to the man himself, you listen to his voice and you see what he's about and what he delivers every day, day in, day out, day in, day out. This is New Year's Day. And you still think I'm a clickbaiting fool? Well, fuck you too. You're definitely wrong. You're definitely wrong. I am not doing clickbait. I am covering the Detroit Lions in the fairest way possible. And out of respect for Vito and Christian and Emmett, who worked with me, read the words, watch the videos. Disregard the headline. Just say, okay, a couple words, Jared Goff, click it and read it. And then read a couple of words. And if you really, truly believe that I'm doing clickbait, I'll do a better job of explaining why it's not. Truly, that's the only thing I ever want to be known as, is a good podcaster and a good human being. Peace. Let's talk soon. 5-year rule. I'm shook. 5-year rule. I was right. There's no factual basis that tells you that Jared Goff and Dan Campbell are going to have a happy marriage. There's no factual basis for that. But let's make history maybe. Why not? Prove me wrong. All right. Thanks, everybody. Peace and love. Truly, truly. Have a blessed New Year's Day. Hopefully you enjoy the 2 hours. Let's go. Let's go. I got another story even coming too. The recap news stuff for the day. Lions on SI. I think I just want to be in the mix. Okay. One last thing for the last 30 seconds. I told everybody a couple years ago that I keep a list that another media member put of all the trusted media members, and they kept me off of it. A lot of times I would look at it and feel bad in the past. Today, I looked at it and said, fuck yeah, you kept me off the list. Thank you. Thank you. I'm a trusted Detroit sports media member. You engage, you care, and I know that the people that listening trust me. Keep me off the list. Keep me off your podcast. Keep me off your friend list. Keep me off of anything. It only serves to help me. 19 names listed. Boom. Trust these guys. You can trust these guys in Lions media. You gave me a career. You gave me a purpose. You gave me some drive, some grit, a little salt. And I'll never forget it. Thank you guys. I love you. And thank you. Let's have a great 2026. You are as big of a part of the ride as me. I'm just a conductor, and you guys are the best passengers in the world. Let's go. See you guys later.